let's go to here is Donna Brazil trying to make a case on Fox and Friends, I guess, for Joe Biden. I still am trying to get over her tweet of Wall Street and Main Street need to get along. And
good.
And this is, this is part of the problem, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, look, certainly one of the values I think we see in Biden that I could just say, as opposed to Trump, from the perspective of the left, is I definitely think the left gets more vigorous during, with a like a centrist Democrat in office, because I think like the stark difference becomes you no longer have this like we've got to get this guy out. It becomes more like we can actually look at the policies that constitute the difference between what a Democrat is or could be.
Yeah, and Biden is a lot worse at smoothing over those rough edges than Obama.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And honestly, I think today, because of material conditions, like some of Obama's speeches, you go back in the archive, there would be a contingent of folks today it wouldn't work on anymore. Just because of the changing conditions.
Like I say, the changing conditions, and also the left grew under Obama. Like this, like an actual left. Here is Donna Brazil on Fox and Friends.
He's a man of passion. I've known Joe Biden. I was 27 years old. I went home to Louisiana. I thought about going to law school. I got a phone call from Joe Biden. Joe Biden is someone who cares. He will speak his mind. He will tell you things that you look at him and you're like, I have to tell you, I went to the White House 3 months after Joe Biden became vice president. And he sat me down and he looked at me. Come on, we're doing this thing. We're doing the Biden thing, right? And he said, let's have a black on black discussion. I looked at him and I'm like, I'm black. Joe Biden speaks from here, okay? Sometime when you speak from here, you don't get it right, but guess what? He is a man of...
Pony soldier?
Oh, I've never used those words, okay? The combo, but come on, who are we comparing him to, right? Himself. I want to address one other issue.
You're going to tell me Joe Biden from 10 years ago would have been telling at least 4 people not to vote for him?
Are you an expert? Are you an expert on cognitive disabilities? I've heard so many people talk about cognitive.
That was
Joe
weird.
Biden.
You knew him 10 years ago, so
I knew him 30 years ago.
So you're going to tell me he would have done those same things he would 10 years ago?
Joe Biden is a man of passion, and I don't think that auto worker took offense to what Joe Biden.
We just had him on.
Joe Biden was talking about.
All right, here's the thing. I actually don't think that it's going to work for the right. If Joe Biden becomes the nominee, I don't think it's going to work for the right to say he's got cognitive problems, that he's lost a step. The issue with Joe Biden losing a step is one that should worry Democrats, because he's not going to be able to do the things in the campaign that are going to allow him to beat Donald Trump. I actually think when you get into the general election, they can say Sleepy Joe and this and that, but that's not going to depress anybody's votes to go vote for him. If you don't like Donald Trump, it's not because you are like, you're deciding like, I feel that Donald Trump has lost a step and that's why I'm going to vote against him. Like, that's not the reason that's motivating you. So you can't depress the vote for Biden by saying he's lost a step. Well, they've both lost a step. I'm not going to go vote. That's not going to be the issue. The issue with Joe Biden's having lost a step is a concern for Democrats, because there's actual real world implications when you're running for office, that you want someone to be vigorous, to be able to run against the other guy. But it's not going to be a critique that the right is going to weaponize, be able to, I think, successfully weaponize.
I think, though, if we think of it as each margin counts, it's another thing that just reinforces, like you talk about depressing the youth turnout. Like, in addition to everything else, I mean, it already is a meme for people who, look at this.
I know, but I still think that
I don't think it's going to be. Look, I think the overwhelming case, and this is an amazing thing about the Trump era, is that the most corrupt administration in history. I think the case is going to be, look at what his brother's doing. Look at what his son's doing.
Exactly. That is going to be a far more effective way of suppressing the vote. Definitely with Joe Biden. And They're going to do it with Social Security too.
Yes.
They're going to get to the left of him. That's where all the critique is, because all they want to do is keep the margins of the Democratic Party, margins in terms of like Social Security, maybe some of the older folks, margins in terms of like people who are in the anti-corruption thing, or just see all politicians as, trade is another one. They're just going to try and pick off on those margins, and that's going to suppress the vote. I actually think that frankly, it would be just as effective for Joe Biden, in the general, to just be like, to totally lose it and get the vote of like, I just want to see what happens if you put a guy like that in the White House. Like, that's part of what drove Donald Trump's vote.
Absolutely. And honestly, the first half of like what she's saying there, to me, like, there have been clips that people have run around with that may be in a Democratic Party, but like, honestly, like, when he called that guy fat and challenged him to push-ups, I'm not saying it wasn't obnoxious and wrong, but I did not watch that and think, man, what a disaster. I watched that and was like, you know what? There's a lot of people that are going to watch that and be like, oh, the guy was insulting his son.
That critique is exclusively a Democratic primary critique because it gets to the heart of whether he can beat Donald Trump. In the general election, people aren't assessing Biden's ability to beat Donald Trump. They're either going to vote for him or not because of a whole another set of, they're making a determination between those people. And so they're, Fox and Friends got the wrong memo on that.